We are officially stepping into the final quarter of 2025. And if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur listening to this right now, you know that the Q4 energy is different. For a lot of people, it's almost a scramble, right? Like last minute launches, sales pushes, trying to force last minute results before the year ends. But for those of us working intentionally, working in the quantum, Q4 is the most powerful time to lock into our highest timeline, not just for the next 3 months, not just for the last 3 months of the year, but for the entire energetic foundation of the next year of 2026. So, in today's episode, I'm going to share with you the principles behind manifesting your highest quarter four timeline. We're going to talk about why Q4 is such a potent manifestation portal, the frequency shifts that are required for building your empire in this quarter, and how to start energetically calibrating now so you can close the year in full body yes alignment. And if this resonates, I will be leading a free Q4 manifestation mapping workshop on the 30th of September, where we'll do the actual practices together. Everything that we'll be talking about today in theory will be done in practice, and it will be completely free for all of you. But more on that at the end. Now, let's dive in to what Q4 is and why it's such an important energetic portal. So, as I said, Q4 is not just another 3 months of the year. I want you to think of the year like a book you are writing about your business, about your empire, about your personal brand. Q4 is the final chapter in this book. So, whatever tone you use in the last chapter of your book, whether that's hopeful or frantic, grounded or panicky, that becomes the feeling that you carry into the next book, into the next year. That feeling is what I mean by energy and by frequency. And the patterns that you take with you is what I mean by identity. So I always talk about how quantum manifestation, or in order to quantum leap, we need to work on the deepest level, the root of our reality, which is both our energy and our identity. Okay, so the feeling and the imprints are those energy slash frequency and identity that we carry with us to the next year. Now, the most important part that so many entrepreneurs miss is your business doesn't grow like Legos, right? Like bricks stacking neatly one by one. Quantum leaps, business growth is more like popcorn. So when you make popcorn, whether that's on the hob or in the microwave, nothing, there's nothing happening. And then suddenly pop, 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 sudden expansion. There's this other metaphor that I love using that you've heard me use in the past, which is the water to ice metaphor, right? So let's say you leave a cup of water outside in July. Nothing happens. The water just stays water for ages and ages and ages. But then the temperatures start to drop, drop, drop. That's the preparation bit. Okay. That's the part where you prepare, you do the foundation work. And then as the temperatures hit zero, that's when the water instantly turns into ice. So business growth and quantum leaps in general work the same. There's all the foundational work, all the preparation work, and then success, expansion happen suddenly. That is what other people call overnight success. But anyone who's had quote unquote overnight success knows that it is not overnight. It might look like overnight, but there have been months, normally years before of preparation. So when we talk about the quantum leaps, quantum manifestation, it's just how change happens when your mindset, your nervous system, and your identity all line up. You shift on the inside and you do that work for a while, and suddenly the outside catches up. And when that happens, that's what happens, quote unquote, overnight. That is what happens fast. So let's just translate a few words that I use a lot when I talk about these concepts. First of all, there's the frequency or energy, and that is the overall mood that you are broadcasting. Are you walking around with things always work out for me, or oh, I'm always late? Like people, opportunities, and even your own ideas respond to that frequency, that mood that you are broadcasting out to the universe through your creator field. Then we have identity. Identity is your self image. I did a whole episode, incredible episode, if I can say so myself, about self image. So if you haven't listened to that, I really recommend you go back and listen. But identity is essentially who you believe you are and the way you perceive other people to perceive you. Do you think, or do you think other people think of you as like a scrappy freelancer trying to make things work? Or do you believe you are a CEO building a category of one brand? Same person, extremely different identities. And then the decisions and the results are completely different based on how you see yourself and how you think other people see you. So that is frequency slash energy and identity. Another concept I want to talk about, and I will talk about throughout this episode, is energetic capacity. So that is essentially how much goodness can you hold without wobbling. Can you hold more clients, more money, more visibility, more leadership without slipping into self sabotage? That capacity is expandable. It's like a muscle. And this is why entrepreneurs at any level always go back to this work, the mindset work, the manifestation work, the nervous system regulation work, because no matter what level you're at right now, whether your business is barely even making a full time income, or whether you are making $10 million months, that doesn't matter. Always, in order to be able to hold and to receive more, we need to work on that energetic capacity and expand it like a muscle. So when I work with clients or when I speak to other entrepreneurs who experience quantum leaps, it's rarely, oh, I found a magic strategy and now everything is working, right? It's almost always a moment like, I stopped discounting my offers. I started speaking in my true voice, which, by the way, we started talking about using a true voice, authenticity, self expression last week, and we will go back to that soon. So don't worry about it. It is stuff like I started understanding my power and I stopped outsourcing my power to other people. That's when that click happens. And Q4 is the ripest time for that click to happen because this quarter holds really, really powerful forces. The first one is this closure energy. So humans are wired to complete stories. We always need this closure. And as we approach the end of anything, we naturally ask, what did I create? Who am I now? What do I want to be known for? And this is the question, or these are the questions that we ask ourselves when we come to the end of the year. And these questions alone can cause a profound identity upgrade as we approach the end of the year. Then we also have the attention. Attention is different in Q4. For businesses and buyers, Q4 is when companies, teams, and even solo entrepreneurs review budgets. They often have money left that needs to be spent before the end of the year, or they're planning what to allocate for the new year. They are planning the new year in general and trying to think about what they're going to allocate for what. And that means that they're more open to making investments, hiring support, or saying yes to offers that feel aligned to them. And then also for individuals, people naturally reflect more towards the end of the year. They ask, where am I? What do I want the next year to look like? And this reflection makes them more open to making changes, joining programs, or hiring coaches so they can finish the year strong and proud and start the new one fresh. And just a side note, if you are a health and fitness coach, I remember when I was in this industry, September was always the strongest month for new clients to come in. So it's almost like the second January. People tend to think, okay, January is the strongest month for sales. For a lot of fitness coaches specifically, that, and maybe in other industries as well, like that is the industry that I was very familiar with. That is when a lot of people sign up. So that is almost that Q4 energy in action. So essentially, what I am saying here is that your ecosystem of clients, leads, followers, collaborators, This ecosystem is more open to decisive moments and decisive actions in Q4. They are already in the mindset of, let me make this decision now so I can start the new year with clarity. So when you show up in Q4 with clean, confident energy and offers that are truly aligned to you, not from pressure, not from stress, but really intuitively from your higher self, you are meeting people at the exact right time that they are ready to move and to hire you or buy your services. It's like standing at a crossroads, and the end of the year makes people naturally pause and look at their direction. And at this point, your messaging, your energy, your offer in Q4 can be the signpost that says, this way to your highest timeline, not just for you, but for your clients and potential clients as well. And so we talked about how we have this closure energy, how we have this attention towards wanting to finish the year strong and making more decisions. And in Q4, there's almost this like momentum transfer as well. So it's like a snowball rolling downhill. Whatever speed and direction you build now carries into January and into the new year in general. When you feel grounded and expanded in Q4, and especially in like November, December, you don't have to quote unquote start again in the new year. You're already ahead of the curve. You're already moving when the year starts. So if you end 2025 hustling and doubting, you teach your brain that this is what we do and this is how we grow, by pushing and by worrying and by being stressed all the time. And your brain, your subconscious, loves to repeat what is familiar. So in January, it will offer you those same patterns of pushing harder, of stressing, of worrying more. And that is not the frequency that you want to be in. However, if you end 2025 embodied in your highest timeline, you teach your brain that we grow and we expand by clarity, by conviction, and by clear, intuitive decisions. And in January, your brain offers you more of that clarity and of that conviction and knowing who you are. And that is the frequency of magnetism. And that's what you want to grow your brand even more. Now, what do I mean by your highest timeline, by achieving your highest timeline in Q4? I want you to imagine that there are multiple versions of quarter four of the months of October, November, and December that exist. Like, imagine different paths that are in front of you. You are walking through a forest and there are plenty of different paths in front of you, and each one symbolizes one version that you could be in Q4. In one path, you are frazzled and you are saying yes to misaligned projects and offers. In another, you are strategic, you are present, you are open. Your best clients seem to find you at the perfect moment. And there are many other timelines as well. Some are better, some are worse, some are like 50-50. Your highest timeline is the path where you're most you. You are your core self. You are calm. You are in your power. You are using your voice clearly. You have your standards precisely where they need to be. And because you are the most you, your core self, the best matches, the most aligned dream clients find you, they recognize you, and they reach you. And of course, this matters so much if you are at the point of building or scaling your empire. Empires aren't built by doing more random tasks. They're built by holding a true, clear signal of who you are and where you're going. Your offers are clear. Your pricing reflects your real value. Your content stops sounding like everyone else's. You don't try to be everywhere, but you become unmissable where it counts with the right clients. And this is a frequency and identity choice. All of this is within your reach at any given moment. We have all the timelines ahead of us, and we can choose to go into one timeline or the other. And what needs to be done for us to unlock our highest timeline is to shift our frequency and identity. Both are the root of our reality, so that we can match the frequency and identity of our highest timeline. Now, I can hear the practical brain asking, so what? Do I just like vibe my way through Q4? Do I just focus on the internal, on the energy, on the frequency, on the identity? Of course not. Strategy still matters, but strategy lands very differently depending on the frequency and identity that you are running. The same email sequence, literally the same one from a frantic state or from an anchored state will read very, very differently. Even if you send the exact same email with the exact same words, one will be read as needy, or maybe your clients, your ideal clients, won't even read it because your creator field is kind of broadcasting this needy energy. And the other one, again, could be written exactly the same, but if you send it from an anchored, calm, aligned place, it will be read as certain, and it will attract people to your offers. The same sales calls with the same script or the same things that you say. One, if you do it from scarcity, from I need this client to sign up, that will push them away. And the other, if you run it from a feeling of abundance, of knowing your worth, of having a high self image, that invites and that magnetizes the right clients to you. So, same action, same sales call, same email, but very different fields and very different results. That's the heart of quantum leaps, quantum manifestation, and quantum business. Who you are while you do the thing changes the thing and the result of the thing. And this is why I don't do traditional checkbox goal setting for Q4 or for any quarters with myself or with clients. Ticking boxes, I see it like trying to make a kite fly by just like yanking at the strings. So you are doing something, but the kite will really only fly when it catches wind. And in business, the wind is your aligned state, your frequency, and your identity. So it is your beliefs, your clarity, your allowance, your self image, your energy. You can set targets and you can set goals if you like, but you need to understand that targets don't create the wind that will really fly the kite. Your frequency and identity do. So targets help you steer, but the frequency and identity is what actually make you fly. So let's just talk about a few examples to make it very clear. Let's talk first of all about pricing. So from a chasing frequency, you second guess yourself constantly. You almost apologize for charging the prices that you charge, and therefore you don't get many people actually buying. But from a grounded, knowing its worth frequency, your price is simply the container for the results that you offer. So we have the same number, but vastly different energy, and people feel it, and that's what determines if people buy and think it is so worth it and just practically tell you, please take my money, versus people not buying. We can also talk about it in terms of posting and marketing. From a scrambling frequency, you post more, but you really say less. But from a magnetic frequency, you might post less, you might not, but every line in your copy, in your messaging, in your posts carries weight and certainty, carries who you are truly. And again, this goes back to authenticity and self expression. People stop scrolling because you have stopped filtering yourself. And we can also talk about capacity, energetic capacity, as we talked about before. From a constricted frequency, let's say you sign on 3 new clients, but that can feel really overwhelming. So you unconsciously slow leads. I have seen this so many times with clients who tell me they want more clients, they want to grow their business, but they are feeling so overwhelmed already that they subconsciously block more clients from coming because they are feeling so scattered. But from an expanded frequency, 3 new clients feels spacious. It feels exciting. Your system can hold it. So then it arrives, and a lot more than 3 new clients arrive. And this is the work that it's not work that you do in one day. It's a work of energetic capacity. It's a work of identity. It's a work of messaging, the right messaging. So you call in clients that don't even feel like work. They don't feel like work, and you can have 20 of them. And again, I don't recommend having 20 one-on-one clients. Like, I don't know, at least for me, that feels too much. But when your messaging is on point because your energy is on point, your clients feel like a breeze. And then you have capacity to hold more. You can think of it like a radio, okay? So your dream clients, your soulmate clients are tuned to a specific station. Let's call it station clarity. If you are broadcasting on station panic, station frantic, they cannot hear you, even if you are shouting, because they are not tuned into the same station that you are broadcasting. So Q4 is where you retune the dial. So the people that you are meant to serve can finally find you, see you, lock onto your signal without interruptions. So this is why I call Q4 an energetic portal. It's a deliberate retuning of who you are being as the year closes. And I also want to address something important. This doesn't mean that you need to ignore the hard things or pretend that everything is perfect. If anything, it's the opposite. Energetic leadership acknowledges reality and chooses a clean stance anyway. You can reflect back on the year and say, yeah, that launch underperformed or flopped. And still, I am the person who's building a world class empire. My strategy keeps evolving and my standards keep rising. And that is the empire energy and identity that we are tuning into. So for me, the way I see Q4 is, first of all, it's a reset. You stop dragging old stories forward. You dive deep in, whether you do that through the recode method, through intuitive reads, through any other means, to understand what your blocks are and release them. This is so, so important at this time of year. And you choose a fresh internal narrative intentionally and on purpose. And this is what we do in the recode method. This is why I love it so much. And I recommend all of my clients and anyone I talk to use it, because really it is such a simple practice, but it is life changing. Side note, if you are a listener of this podcast, you always have 50% off the recode method. So if you are interested in purchasing it, just DM me on Instagram recode and I'll send you a link for buying the recode method at a 50% off discount. So we talked about the reset. Then we have this culmination. You gather the evidence of who you've become this year and who you are right now. So your brain sees proof that expansion is safe and normal. And this, if you are a client of mine or if you have been a client in the past, you know that one of the first tools that I give is manifestation ingredients. And this is what it is. It is identifying who you are now and celebrating all the wins daily. So your brain sees the proof that you are already that person that you want to be. And then there's also this portal to expansion. You step through as the version of you who makes clearer, braver choices now, not in January, but now. So January is just a continuation. It's not a rescue mission. You are already ahead of the curve. And this is exactly why I won't pack this episode with step-by-step worksheets, not because the steps don't matter, they do, but because the steps only land once your energy and identity are aligned and they are tuned with what your business needs in its highest timeline. So here's where a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck. They keep thinking that the next level of their business is going to come from doing more posting, more tweaking, more strategy, more launches, whatever that is. But the truth is, the highest timeline is not unlocked through piling on tasks. It's unlocked through your identity and frequency. And what I mean by that is the way that you're actually living, breathing, and showing up every single day, inside and out. So think about it. How often do you skip over your own wins? You sign a client, and a day later, your brain is already panicking about where the next one is going to come from. You have a great launch, and instead of celebrating, you're immediately stressing about how to top it next time. That pattern keeps you locked in lack and in scarcity because you're never actually letting your nervous system feel safe with the success you already created. And this is why we talked about manifestation ingredients and why they are so, so important. Because when you pause, when you integrate, you actually recognize your power. When you say, hold on a sec, I manifested this client, I manifested this successful launch, I shifted this pattern, you are giving yourself evidence, evidence that you can do it again. Evidence that it is safe for you and that you can hold it. And that evidence is the fuel that lets your business grow in a way that compounds instead of constantly starting from scratch. Then there is embodiment. And this is the one that really shifts so much when it comes to manifestation. Embodiment is not about sitting around visualizing your future business. It's about actually being the CEO of that business now. If the version of you who's running the empire sets different boundaries, carries herself with more certainty online, makes clearer decisions with money, you don't wait for the empire to arrive before you act like them. You start living from that state now. And when you do, the opportunities, the clients, the money, they calibrate to you. They sense it and they come to you. And then comes expansion. So we talked about integration, we talked about embodiment. There is then the expansion. And this is the piece that most entrepreneurs don't even realize that they're avoiding. And that's why so many have this glass ceiling that they can't break through because everyone says they want more, right? More visibility, more clients, more money, all of it. But in reality, as we talked about, holding more can feel terrifying. Your system starts asking, can I actually manage this? Can I actually be seen at this level? What if I can't keep up? What if people judge me? What if I get hate comments? What if I can't manage a big team? Whatever that is. And so, without even noticing, you cap yourself, you upper limit yourself, you avoid posting the thing that would blow your business up. Of course, this is all subconscious, right? You hesitate to raise your prices. You delay the launch that you have been talking about and planning for ages. It's because your body, your nervous system, your subconscious don't feel safe expanding. And again, I keep going back to this, but this is why Q4 is such a powerful time. It's a moment to consciously stretch your energetic capacity, to tell your nervous system it is safe to hold more, it is safe to be seen, and it is safe to lead. And when you do all of this, when you stop skipping your wins, when you start embodying the person who already runs the empire, and when you expand your capacity to receive more, that is when you quantum leap. You stop waiting for next year or for someday, and Q4 itself becomes the season that you quantum leap. Now, at this point, you might be asking, okay, Sherry, I get it. Q4 is important. I talked about it a lot. It's a portal. It's all about frequency and identity. But how do I actually do this? How do I map out Q4 in a way that isn't just another set of goals that makes me feel behind in 2 weeks or in 1 month? And that's exactly why I created the free Q4 manifestation mapping workshop. Because most business planning workshops or mindset workshops or whatever those are going to give you spreadsheets and journal prompts and to-do lists. They'll have you map out every launch, every month, every week, every post. And while structure and strategy are, of course, important and they are useful, you and I both know at this point that when you are working at an empire level, the strategy only works if the energy behind it is super aligned and clean. So, this workshop is about building from the inside out. Instead of you forcing a plan and having rigid dates and all of that, we are going to get your body, your subconscious, and your nervous system, your energy field on board first. That way, when you sit down to make decisions in your business, it doesn't feel like guesswork. It feels inevitable and it feels aligned. So, what are we going to do in this workshop? Well, we are first of all going to work at the subconscious nervous system level, at the identity frequency level, to help your identity and your energy match that next level that you are working towards. We'll be doing breath work. We're going to do a hypnosis for the highest timeline in Q4. And don't worry, this isn't me controlling your mind. Hypnosis is simply a very relaxed state where your subconscious is more open, more receptive, more open to rewiring and changing. And in that space, you can plant the beliefs, and we will plant the beliefs that Q4 is about certainty, about leadership, about expansion, and about quantum leaping. And then we are going to do quantum manifestation mapping. And this is where we will actually map out your Q4, but not in the traditional sense. Instead of asking, what should I do? When should I launch this? We will ask, what is inevitable when I'm in my highest frequency? We'll identify the moves the standards, the non negotiables that align you with that empire level version of yourself. And then we'll talk about strategy as well. And what I'm very excited about is we will also be using my intuitive gifts and abilities. So at the end, after we have all mapped out our Q4, you will have a Q&A where I can read intuitively your field, your higher self field, your soul field, and give you yes or no answers if something is right for you or not, help you with dates, help you with any strategy or energetic practices that you need help with, that you need to make sure are fully aligned with what you need to do. So you will not just leave with theory, you will walk away with a Q4 map that feels alive in your body. Not just another list that you'll abandon or that make you feel bad, but a living blueprint that matches the frequency and identity of who you are becoming, and making sure that it is aligned with your higher self, that you are not making quote unquote mistakes. We are taking the highest timeline, the highest route, the quickest route to you achieving your goals. And this is why intuition is a cheat sheet for everything, because instead of having to make lots of mistakes, we just ask your higher self and we get the answer very quickly. So if you are listening to this and thinking, yes, I want to end 2025 in my highest timeline, then come and join me. It's completely free and it's going to be so, so powerful. The link is in the show notes, so make sure to save your spot. It's going to be on the 30th of September, and I am so excited to guide you through the full process, and I'll be doing that with you as well. I will be mapping my Q4 with you at the workshop as well. So as we wrap this episode up, what I want you to take away is the way you finish this year matters. And I know it's not quite the end of the year, but again, in business, we look at it in quarters. So it's not just about what you do in Q4, the launches that you run, the courses that you launch, the content that you post, the sales that you make. It's about who you are being as the year is coming to an end. If you finish 2025 scattered, hustling, doubting, you carry that into January. And I don't want that for you, because I know you're not here to play small. You are here to build an empire. You are here to live the version of your life and business that makes your whole body say yes. So if this is all resonating, make sure to come and join me. Again, the link is in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you inside. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.